Yogendra, can I just stop you on that? When you say that he's celebrating a political defeat, I heard a commentator from the United Kingdom saying, look, 10 years in power and you still come back, how does it become a defeat? Look at the gap between 1 and 2, it's still extended. So when you say it's a political defeat and the opposition is not celebrating a loss, what do you mean?
No, sir, not just gap between 1 and 2. The BJP by itself is more than the entire India bloc put together. So Yogendra ji, when you answer this question, you will have to keep in mind this fact that the India alliance taken together is at 234. Out of the 291 that the NDA has at this moment, the BJP by itself is 239. BJP individually 5 more than the entire India alliance taken together.
That too when you take TMC along.
Yogendra Yadav.
Thanks for the effort, Rahul, that you have put into all this mathematics. I have done numbers, and one of the things that I have learned from trying to do political numbers is that political numbers make sense in the political context. So Rajdeep, the British analyst or whoever told you after 10 years these things happen, he probably doesn't live in India. There's a very different context to it, and all of us know it. Rajdeep, you know it. Rahul, you know it. And every one of the audience knows it. In this was not a normal contest. Here is a contest where there is a stranglehold over power, where there is, in terms of money, BJP had probably what, 10, 20, 100 times more money that they were spending on this election than anyone else. That they had the entire media of this country lined up as their spokesperson. I think the British person may not have ever seen it, so he may not be familiar with all these things. They normally, in normal healthy democracies, you don't have such servile media as we've had in this country for the last 10 years. That all the institutions of governance were aligned and that the election commission was playing a disgraceful role. They must not have seen all that. It is in this context and the announcement of 400 par and the entire media echoing 400 par, and till day before yesterday we were discussing 400 par. In that context, getting 240, 30 seats below majority is defeat. There is no other word for it. I know it must be very hard to take it for many people, but I think it's time we begin to realize, Rahul, that reality has changed. Something has happened in the last 12 hours, Rahul. I really want you to begin to believe these things.
Even though you will have 5 more years, you're saying this even though we will have 5 more years of Prime Minister Modi. We will probably still have 5 more years of Prime Minister Modi, Yogendra Yadav.
There is a difference, Rajdeep, between forming the government and having a popular mandate. Very often governments lose a popular mandate, but they still manage to form governments. Of course he would run a government. I'm not saying his government is, if he forms. As of now, he has not. And all this talk about Mr. Modi becoming Prime Minister for the 3rd time is absolutely premature. Those who know anything about legality, those who know anything about how governments are formed, should not be saying all this today. They can say it the day after tomorrow when the formality is completed. But more importantly, yes, he would have government, but there's something called Iqbal. I don't know the right expression in English for that. Governments have Iqbal. They have certain legitimacy. They have certain aura that actually gives government power to get things done. This would be government minus Iqbal. And that is where the difference is. And for that, I see many positives coming from that, Rajdeep, if I can quickly say that. Number one, I find, as Rahul has anticipated, opposition to be more vocal. I expect the opposition to actually get space to speak in the parliament, which was not the case earlier. I really expect the media to open up, and such a lovely sight it would be if the media in this country were to start speaking. I mean, I see many captions running on your channel even today, which must have been designed yesterday anticipating 320 seats for the BJP. But reality has changed. I'm really hoping that media would wake up. They would find some voice. I do expect the judiciary also to find greater courage, can I say, or greater attention to the letter and spirit of Constitution, something that has been somewhat blurred over the last few years. I do expect democratic institutions to open up, and above all, I expect protests, movements and resistance to strengthen. And that, please don't get frightened, this is the best thing that can happen to a democracy. And this country was born out of an Andolan. The PM doesn't quite realize it. But Andolans becoming strong, democratic resistance becoming strong is a lovely idea. So today is a lovely day. We have seen opening of democracy. Tantra has been subdued by Lok for a moment. Let's cherish that moment and let's hope something really good would come out of it.
Yogendra Yadav, as I've said, I've known you for years, and I think one of the great skills you have is bringing in various thoughts and putting it in a very concise manner. I appreciate you joining me. I can only say some of us have spoken at some cost over the years, but we will leave that for another debate and speak about that on another day. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. We've got